西方学者吉恩夏普曾说，群众防卫至少可以替代军事手段，在嚇阻与防卫上做出巨大的贡献。最后证明，人民的力量是最强大和最安全的防卫体系。这段话明白点出，当全民国防成为全国人民心中共同认知之时，就能构筑一道坚强的精神防卫堡垒，在险峻的环境中营造有恃无恐的气势。从教育观念来看，民众接触国防事务的机会并不多，多半仅能从媒体报道获知国军战训现况与国防施政推动情形。对于敌情威胁、国家安全处境、国军建军等事务无法深入了解。然而，在全民国防教育法实施以来，透过中央及地方各单位的通力合作，以多面向、多层次及弹性活泼的方式，推动全民国防教育，对全民国防植入民心，并落实于日常生活中，实具正向意义及成效。
之精神与专长相符，补贴实施必要之训练，对还是
全民国防教育在众人的期待下，以多面向呈现在民众日常生活中。国防部积极透过营区开放参观，举办暑期战斗营，或是由专业教官到各公务机关宣导全民国防理念，不仅成效斐然，也掀起国人对国防事务的关心与期望。据统计，民国100年国防部所举办的16场营区开放活动，吸引逾30万民众热情参与，证明营区开放广受欢迎，且兼具教育成效，并以向下扎根，深化国人全民国防理念。
我们今天有这个机会来参观是很不错的。我希望说这个国军部队能尽量多开放营区，让我们那个老百姓能够多了解军队的最近训练情况怎么样啊。我觉得这次的表演非常成功。
今年下半年，在国军各营区开放活动中，规划有各式武器装备陈展。透过说明，除了吸引年轻族群与军事民的青睐，加深对国军现役武器装备的认识，同时让国人更加了解台澎防卫作战中，国军积极筹建各项先进武器的必要性。另外，营区开放动态操演中，也展现出官兵平日勤训精练成效。无论是神龙小组的高空定点跳伞、官兵战技操演及战机性能展示等，均使民众深切体验官兵肩负保国为民所付出的努力，以及陆力落实建军备战的成果，进而感受国防安全不可一日偏废松懈。而整体防卫力量更有赖全民共同努力。
平常难得有这样子的机会，可以直接进来参访，那看到说哦，原来大家平常的操演训练是这样子的精实。
到现场就很多直升机在展示，然后我想这是还蛮难得的经验，尤其是今天又展示了4架直升机运输的那个过程，我觉得非常的壮观，而且看到这么多直升机的展示，我也深深的对我们的国防实力感到信赖以及骄傲。
国防与一般人紧密结合，是民众认识国防、参与国防的最佳途径，也是建构国人全民国防理念的基础。尤其国防施政经纬万端，唯有透过普及与多元的方式贴近全民生活，使全体国人了解国家安全现况，并体认国防的重要性，进而支持国军建立现代化国防，与确保国家生存与发展。现代国防就是全民国防，国人应深刻体认，国家安全攸关每位国民、每个家庭与社会所有成员。因此，营区开放活动透过实地参与、亲身体验，将可激发国人对国防安全更多的关注，为国家、社会付出心力，进而凝聚共同捍卫国家安全意识，使全民国防成为军民坚信不疑的核心价值。
大家好，我是苏伟婷，欢迎收看《莒光园地》。时间过得很快，现在已经是民国100年的最后一个星期了。本周《莒光园地》将播出今年度的最后一集。回顾这1年来，莒光园地制作小组走遍了全国各个大小部队、机关、学校以及基层单位，无论是山之巅、海之滨，还是外岛、离岛，甚至是高山偏远地区，为官兵同仁制播各类型的优质节目，希望大家都能够因此而收获满满。我们不辞辛劳地远赴各地，报道国军各级部队战备训练与各单位的工作实况，将官兵弟兄姐妹们戍守国土、捍卫领疆的珍贵画面，透过镜头做最忠实的呈现。期盼国人同胞对国军官兵的辛勤与努力都能够给予肯定、支持与鼓励。同时呢，希望每一位官兵同仁都可以从丰富多元的节目当中得到指引与启发，进而运用在工作职务上，从容地面对各项的任务与挑战。而讲到任务与挑战，本周我们特别选播了一部经典的战争影片。剧情是描述第2次世界大战期间，美国空军第918轰炸大队克服困难、战胜挑战的故事。面对战争时，无论是担负教育训练与作战成败的指挥官，还是负责执行命令的官士兵，都承受着极大的压力。而想要赢得胜利，就必须要以国家的利益为重，做出最正确的判断与决策，并且要以坚强的意志克服压力与恐惧，以扎实的训练减少错误与伤亡，这样才能够发挥战力，战胜敌人。而这部影片区分为上下2集，本周我们会先播出上集，请大家要仔细收看哦。不过，在观赏影片之前，我们还是要先来关心一下这个星期的焦点新闻，请看新闻简历。
总统马英九日前出席100年上半年陆海空军将官继任布达暨授阶典礼，除对继任的将领表达诚挚祝贺外，并期盼他们持续专注战训本务，达成国家对国军的要求及人民对国军的期待。总统致辞时强调，台海问题应以和平方式解决。国军建军备战的目的不是为了求战，而是表示我们不畏战，让我们有能力在最后关头保卫自己的安全。 期盼晋升将官们贯彻此一信念，进而成为国军的基本理念。典礼中，国防部长高华柱为王信龙少将等7人继任中将，赵建中上校等23人继任少将受接，向获得晋升的将军们表达最诚挚的祝贺与加冕之意，并感谢眷属的包容与支持，长期忍受聚少离多的日子，默默牺牲奉献，才能让将领们无后顾之忧，专心致力于保国为民的职责，奠定中华民国和平繁荣的基础。国防部长高华柱日前视导宜兰海军苏澳中正基地，肯定官兵坚守工作岗位，并要求单位陆力战备本务，加强营区内外安全防护，以确保国军整体战力。高部长视导时，除听取单位任务简报外，并登上济阳军舰关心官兵生活、战备训练与执勤情形，对舰上各部位官兵恪尽职责、勤训精练给予肯定与加冕。国防部副部长赵世章上将也在日前无预警视导桃园地区国军单位。赵副部长首先前往国军桃园总医院视导该单位消防应变作为，并对留职人员下达火警状况，实地验证官兵平时训练成效。赵副部长随后也转往中科院系统制造中心测考留职官兵营区安全防护作为，对他们娴熟各项状况处置表示肯定，并指示各级干部配合单位任务特性，平日应针对各项可能突发状况模拟训练，强化官兵处置能力。国防部日前于中岸营区举行101年元旦暨元月份月会，由国防部长高华柱主持。部长首先颁奖表扬联勤司令部督察长吴行贤少将等4位资深届退干部，以及100年各项绩优单位与个人，对于他们的工作付出表达肯定与嘉许。部长指出，中华民国101年元旦即将来临，希望国军能将过去1年的努力重新检视，在既有的良好基础上，积极进取、精益求精，以前瞻的视野与创新的思维，共同承担新时代的任务与挑战。国防部副部长赵世章上将日前主持国军12月份军备汇报，包括副参谋总长刘振武上将和常务次长李喜明中将及联参主管各军司令部相关干部30余人参加。赵副部长代表部长高华柱肯定全体军备同仁年来投入生产研发的用心与努力，期许与会人员汲取教训，策立未来，日益精进各项军备事务，有效支援部队作战任务。国防大学军事共同教学中心日前出版《现代政治作战战力形塑与发展》及现代战争军事新闻趋势军事专书。校长陈永康上将将专书颁赠给参与撰写的王荣川、潘进章及谢宏进等3位退休教师，感谢他们秉持袍泽新传与深耕教研的精神，汇整编印成专书，为国军建军发展与国防大学教育传承提供广泛多元的具体建言。由中华民国军人之友社与台北市进出口工会组成的进军团，日前前往马祖地区为缅官兵驻守外岛辛劳，向劳苦功高的3军将士致敬，受到官兵热烈欢迎。进军团实地了解官兵在营生活与教育训练执行概况，官兵纯熟扎实的动作，让进军团对防区坚实的战力深具信心。晚间举办的进军及军民联欢晚会，由方佑兴、方继伟等多位艺人配合国防部义工队共同演出，让官兵与民众享受一场精彩表演，现场气氛热闹欢愉。国防部日前举行100年下半年新府工作汇报，总政治作战局代局长王明我中将代表部长高华柱颁奖表扬年度心理卫生及自伤防治工作辅访、新府文宣专栏等绩优单位与个人，感谢他们年来在工作上所付出的辛劳。此外，会中邀请国防大学政战学院助理教授丁华及国军北投医院副院长李家富，分别进行专题报告，藉由专业丰富的工作经验，启发专业新府人员思维逻辑，积蓄新府工作能量。国防部日前召开例行记者会，由军事发言人罗少和少将及相关联参分别针对国防部因应第13任总统、副总统及立委选举的国军部队战备留守，以及支援外离岛运输任务等相关内容进行说明。作战及计划次长室助理次长郝以之少将指出，国军依规定完成选举期间国军部队战备指导及留置规定，国军保持常态戒备，本外岛部队配合经常战备任务才建制轮休，担任战备部队按规定兵力执勤，战备人数未增加，部队均保持正常运作。 国军秉持军队国家化及行政中立原则，确保国军超然立场。针对国军外离岛人员元旦选举及春节期间返乡疏运，后勤参谋次长室后勤管理处长张志强少将表示，国军将运用建制及伪伤数据，完成外离岛国军人员运输规划。海军陆战队2栖侦搜大队日前在左营后采营区举办2栖侦搜专长班135期综合考验周结训典礼，11名学员在长官及亲友们的见证下，顺利通过犹如魔鬼般天堂入考验，获颁象征荣誉的合格证书及背章，正式成为2栖蛙人。陆战队指挥官潘少将致辞时表示，结训代表另一个学习的开始，未来仍有许多专业专精的课程与训练需队员们持续挑战，期勉以百尺竿头更进一步的精神，精进本职学能，以不负国人所托。国防部福利总处日前欢度48周年处庆，总处长沈耀国上校首先颁奖表扬32位获得年度绩优楷模及服务奉献奖人员，肯定他们在工作岗位上的杰出表现，并期勉全体同仁以专业、敬业、乐业的工作态度，提供最优质的服务，嘉惠军容券。沈上校指出，今年的服务奉献奖由去年获奖的潘玉莲女士颁奖给总处作业组郭世明先生，象征薪火相传，精神不灭。他们无私无我的服务精神，深植全体同仁学习。第8届立法委员与第13任总统、副总统合并投票，定于101年1月14号举行。选举期间，国军各级部队单位人员因确遵国防部令颁，总统、副总统与立法委员合并选举期间，国军各级部队单位应注意事项，谨守分纪，秉持依法行政原则，严守行政中立。各级部队单位主官应亲自持衡宣导及贯彻执行，并教育所属人员知法守法，维护军誉，以确保国军超然立场。国防语文中心军事官英语储训班春季班即将开班，欢迎有志报考人员踊跃报名。招训员额：军官48元，士官32元。报名日期即日起至101年1月4号止。相关招训规定，请上网查询或电洽国防语文中心604-177。100年度公职人员定期财产申报期程，自100年11月1号至12月31号止，请各申报人于法定期限内向各受理机关完成申报。逾期申报人员依法处以新台币6万元至120万元罚锾。如有相关申报问题，欢迎各位来电国防部财产申报处军线254686、254687。陆军司令李祥宙上将为畅通陆军官兵及干部间沟通桥梁，设立陆军司令部军网部落格，正式为官兵服务。陆军官兵除可透过部落格留言板以及军民网电子邮件反映个人问题外，亦可经由简讯专线透过个人手机传送至司令办公室，由陆军司令亲自协助大家解决问题。
各位观众朋友们，大家好，我是周庭山。今天电视教学要播放的影片是《晴空血战士》。这部影片曾经入围了1949年奥斯卡最佳影片奖，荣获纽约影评人协会奖，并登上了《纽约时报》年度最佳影片排行榜。而今天我们非常高兴呢，有机会邀请到了国防大学共教中心的教官王俊南上校，以及空军455联队第23作战队队长陈黄龙上校来到我们节目，一起跟我们观赏这部影片。好的，节目一开始呢，我们是不是先请王教官来帮我们介绍一下这部影片的一个历史背景？
好的，本片真实历史背景是在2次大战期间，英国跟美国联合对德国实施战略轰炸。我们知道2次大战刚开始，德国采取闪击战，所以盟军是处于劣势跟守势。直到美国参战，情势才有所改变。1943年1月，英国首相丘吉尔跟美国总统罗斯福在北非的摩洛哥的卡萨布兰加举行高峰会议，确定了对德反攻的战略计划，决定在欧陆开辟第2战场，这就是大家熟知的诺曼底大登陆大君主战役。计划先对德国占领区及本土进行大规模空中轰炸，以消灭和瓦解德国的军需生产工业和经济系统，摧毁德国的军民士气， 使德军武装抵抗力量降到最低程度，为盟军的登陆作战计划创造有利条件。这就是本片的真实历史背景。
是，谢谢教官哦，这么精辟的解说。那接下来我们是不是请队长呢来帮我们做一下这个剧情的一个重点的提示？
好的，为了瘫痪德国的军需工业，美军与英军分别采取白昼以及黑夜等不同战略，对德国的武器工厂实施轮番轰炸。然而，美军选在没有昏暗夜色掩护的白天执行轰炸任务，本来就比较容易遭到敌人攻击。在当时并不具备高科技装备的时代里，这却是轰炸机、投弹手目视瞄准攻击目标的最佳方式。因此，也就如同本片中文剧名《晴空血战史》，在恶劣的战场环境以及高战损率的唯一震撼之下，许多轰炸机组员因而产生了战志衰竭以及畏战心态等战场抗压的问题。其次，这部影片还有一个重点，就是描述前后两任大队长不同的领导统御方式与训练的要求，在部署之间的团队向心以及所造就出来的战果，却也相对的截然不同。相信大家看完之后，一定会有很多的收获以及感触。
是，经过两位教官这么精辟的引读之后呢，相信大家一定迫不及待的想要来观赏这部影片了。好的，现在就让我们一起来观赏这部《晴空血战史》上半集。
Stovall? I hope you enjoyed the hat, Mr. Stovall, and a pleasant voyage home to you.
Well, thank you. I'd like to thank you for something else, too. Well, back home, I'd buy a hat in 5 minutes. Thank you for a most enjoyable hour and
40 minutes. It was a pleasure. Come back soon, Mr. Stovall.
Goodbye, son.
Where'd you get this?
An auction at Archbury, sir.
I'll take it.
That one's been knocked around a bit, sir. I have a fine Staffordshire.
No. I'll take this one. How much?
Only 10 shillings, sir. I'm afraid it's not much value.
Value? I want you to pack it carefully. Very carefully.
As you say, sir.
We mustn't go, pal. Easy with his right leg. It's broken. Got.
Easy now. Easy now.
You'll have to hold it. We got to careful.
I've been sitting on him.
We can't. We can't. We just can't.
I wouldn't believe it if I wasn't looking at it. You can see his brain.
It's a 20 millimeter that hit him.
Step on it, Doc.
What do I do with an arm, sir?
An arm? Whose arm?
Ed Campbell's, the top turret gunners.
What happened to the rest of him?
He's in a French hospital. I hope. He couldn't have made it home. It was blown off too close to put on a tourniquet. So I bailed him out. I put the ring in his good hand. Shoot open.
That's all right. I'll take care of it. Sergeant, get me a blanket out of that ambulance.
Yes, sir.
Come on, I'll give you boys a lift. Hospital, Mac.
Yes.
Mac's had it.
Did you get the coordinates on a port in the Spitfire down on the channel?
I've already passed them to air sea rescue, sir.
That's it, gentlemen. Thanks a lot. Next crew.
Take this one.
Next crew.
Come on, Jess. McKesson's crew.
Right. McKesson coming?
McKesson's dead.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Well, we might as well get this out of the way. Sit down. Where did you first encounter enemy action?
Bishop, leave him alone. He's had enough today. Leave him alone, can't you?
What is it, Lee?
I don't know, sir. Not all of it. We got hit pretty bad the first pass the FWs made. That was when Mac got it. It took the back of his head right off. Only he didn't pass out. It just made a crazy man out of him. He was still shouting orders and trying to get the controls away from Jesse when I got up there 2 hours later. The kid had been flying with one hand and trying to get the controls away from Mac with the other. Wiping frozen blood off the windshield so he could see. For 2 hours, sir. He made a good bombing run, too. We unloaded on the target.
Well, didn't you know he was in trouble? Why didn't somebody get Mac out of there?
The intercom was shot out, and I thought it was violent evasive action.
For 2 hours?
Mac's foot was jammed in the controls, and that's how we broke his leg trying to get it out of there. That seemed to hurt Jesse worst of all. He started shaking, and I sat on Mac, held it. Well, Jesse brought us in.
Give me a copy of that, Fred, just the way he told it. I'm sending it in with a recommendation for Medal of Honor. Jesse will be okay. I'll drop by later and see him.
Thank you, sir.
That's enough for this crew.
That's all, gentlemen. Thank you. Next crew. Next crew.
Is he in there, Harvey? No, he hasn't been in since right after interrogation. He looked like the devil.
Oh, wouldn't with today.
That's for you, Ben. They're flying down 3 replacement aircraft.
That's very, very nice of them. Lose 5, get 3. That's a nice gain. Not counting battle damage.
This is Germany calling. Lord Haw-Haw, talking from Berlin. Today, I want to bring a special greeting from the fighter pilots of the Luftwaffe to the first American pilots in England, the 8th Air Force.
That's all we need.
Our submarines checked you very carefully when you flew across from America. 4 groups in place so far. Too bad about the one crew you lost on the way. But we wanted to let you know that a U-boat picked up the crew, and they're quite safe here. We found them quite agreeably talkative, too. But what we want to know, whoever persuaded you to try this incredible idea of daylight bombing? It must have been your friends, the English. They know better than to try it themselves. Losses are a little heavy, aren't they? Let's take the 918th group at Archbury, for instance.
Well, that's us.
The hard luck group. You lost 5 bombers today, didn't you? 5 out of the one group. Let's see. 21 in a group? At that rate, it won't take very long, will it? Something pleasant to think about before your mission tomorrow. Oh, yes, Colonel Keith Davenport. You'll have another one tomorrow. Pleasant dreams, my misguided friends.
I don't know why we listen to him. It's always the same pitch. We've already lost the war. On a day like this, I could find myself believing him.
What was today's count on crews?
5 crews didn't make it back. 3 killed, 11 wounded out of those who did. A lot of letters to write.
I'm glad I don't have that one. Did you hear about Lord Haw-Haw?
Twice on the way over here. That kind of news moves fast. Don't let a Kraut news hound throw you too much.
He was right about one thing, sir. We're alerted for tomorrow morning. The warning order just came down.
Again tomorrow? You're kidding, Ben.
I wish I were, sir.
Fine, fine. 4 days in a row. Well, we'd better start getting things together. Alert the crews first, and I'll see you in the ops room in an hour.
Yes, sir. This'll make you happy. Black City again.
Son is there? It's either a feast or a famine. Chew your nails off for 3 weeks waiting on this stinking weather and then try to cram a month's bombing into 4 days. Must be an easier way to run a war.
Field order snafu, too. It says here 9,000 feet.
That's a mistake. I'm sure they mean 19,000. I'll check with Savage. Another maximum effort. Well, what have you got in the way of weather? Give us some fog, can't you?
I wish I could, sir, but the target area ought to be CAVU. About 3/10 cloud cover over the channel. Ideal, almost.
Okay, you're no good to me. Let me know if there's any change.
Yes, sir.
Ben, how many airplanes have we got left?
With the 3 new ones and working the crews all night, Sergeant Nero thinks we can have 18.
How many of the other groups putting up?
21 apiece, sir.
We better camp on Nero's tail. No. He says 18. He's giving us everything with wings still on it. What'd the other groups lose today?
2 in the 9/16th, 0 in the others.
Our stinking luck. Those flak gunners had the range good by the time we made our run. What about crews, Doc?
I could give you a couple of different answers on that, sir.
Well, I'd better get started on routes and timing, sir.
No coffee, Ben?
Oh, not now, thanks.
It's getting to be your diet, isn't it? That and cigarettes? How long since you've had your clothes off?
Never mind my pants. What about crews?
Your crew when it comes to my certifying you for a mission. There's the crew availability.
Colonel, about the route and timing for tomorrow's mission, sir.
Start on the routes. But I wouldn't figure on that 9,000-foot altitude until Colonel Davenport checks with Pine Tree.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for worrying about me, Doc, only don't. What about the rest of them?
That brings us to the 2 answers. On that list of 28 men asking to be excused from tomorrow's mission, 3 times more than normal. They give a lot of reasons. Colds, mostly. And most of them haven't got colds. And that doesn't mean that they've suddenly gone yellow. It just means that they're getting their bellies full. Now, do I okay them physically and mock them duty? How much can a man take? What's physical and what isn't?
The rules say a man ought to go right up to the point where he may endanger his crew. I wish I knew what that meant. If I did, I'd tell you.
Well, can you tell me this? Do I okay Bishop for tomorrow?
He had a tough deal. Jesse's a tough boy.
How tough? What happened today must have done something to him inside. It had to cost him something. Somebody's got to give me a policy. Some kind of yardstick. I wish you'd tell me what a maximum effort means.
Doc, I wish I knew. I wish I could answer that one. Hello? Yes? Hello, Pine Tree. All right. Frank, Keith Davenport. Yeah, I heard it. Look, Frank, I didn't call up to talk about Lord Haw Haw. What about that cockeyed field order that came down? It said 9,000. What? Oh, you're kidding. Yeah, but the strike photos don't show what the flak is like in there. Listen, you're going to be there a little while? All right, I'll be right up. They meant 9,000. Maybe when I get back, I can give you an answer, Doc.
No mistake, it's 9,000. No, we've got to try it. We're not getting hits on those sub-10s. Yeah, I know, then twisted. Had the same request all day. So long, Kurt. The whaling wall is just around the corner, Keith. Oh, I don't know. I guess this is it. Sit down.
If you're on the level about this 9,000-foot stuff, the boys will drop their bombs here tomorrow instead of San Jose. Look, Frank.
It won't work. It was tough enough at 19,000. It'll be suicide at 9. The guy who dreamed this one up ought to have his brain in a glass jar at Harvard. Anything else?
You think you're kidding? Look, Frank, you've been a group commander. You didn't lead the first 10 missions for nothing. Why couldn't you tell them what it'll be like? You could tell them...
Keith, I signed the field order.
Why? That's what I want to know.
All right, I'll spell it for you. We haven't been penetrating the concrete in those sub-pens, Keith. Now, we can't get concentration and accuracy from 19,000. We've got to go in once down low to see if we can get the job done in one trip, instead of fighting our way to the target 5 times and back for nothing.
9,000 feet.
Now, let's allow from here in that when the old man cuts a field order, he's thought about it. There isn't time to take every one of them apart to see what makes it tick. If I were you when I got one, I'd just go ahead and fly it. I was going to bring these down to you tomorrow. Had to steal them from the RAF. Hope they're the kind you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Frank. I won't need them at 9,000, though. It'll be plenty hot. Well, I better get on back and get the chores done.
I'll stay put a minute now you're here. Thought I might run down tomorrow to see you. How many you expect to put out?
18.
Pretty bad luck today?
Not good. We had one break through the runway at takeoff. That threw us late. We never made it up. Cost us plenty. I don't know how anybody outguesses that one.
No. I'd like to help you locate where the trouble does lie, if I could. What about your formation?
I can tell you where the real trouble is, Frank, and it isn't formation.
Shoot.
It isn't down in the groups, either. It's up here, where a bunch of boys get to be nothing but a set of numbers. That's what's the trouble. Do they know up here what my boys have been taking for 3 days in a row? That they'll be up again all night to get 18 in the air for tomorrow? How much do you think they can take? Do you know they're falling asleep at briefing? Are you going to drive them till they crack?
Take it easy, Keith.
Take it easy. Bomber Command can take it easy. Those boys are flesh and blood. They'll die for you, but they've got to have a chance, and they know they haven't got one. Frank, they can have. They know a man's chances run out in 15 missions. Somebody's got to give them a limit, a goal, some hope of living. What do you guys think they're made of?
Look, Keith. Yes, sir?
Just got the reports from the groups. Go on up, Frank.
I'll be there in a minute, sir. Those things are coming, Keith. Replacements. Combat limits. But right now, the deal is to hang on. And look, Keith, you've got to find a way to save yourself a little. You can't carry all the load. It's too big.
Don't worry about me. If you want something to worry about the crews. You and the old man. I better go on up and see him. Give him my love.
If I do, he'll send you his. He rates you pretty high.
Not according to Lord Haw Haw. Good night, Frank.
I don't believe in hard luck. There's always a reason. What have you got on your mind, Frank? Spill it.
I'd rather not.
Let's have it with the bark on.
Well, you won't like it. I don't. It's the group commander.
Keith?
Well, it's always the group commander. It's his job, isn't it?
A little funny coming from you. He's your friend.
I didn't ask you to ask me.
I didn't mean it to sound like that, Frank.
It's okay.
I don't believe it, though. I don't think I do. On paper, Keith looked to me like the best group commander we've had. He's flown every mission. He gets more loyalty out of his men than anybody. Courage, he works hard. I don't know where to fault him. If a man like that can't cut it, we're in trouble. What happened downstairs to change the picture for you?
Nothing. Added this to it, though. He's going to bust wide open. And he's going to do it to himself, too. Why? Because he's a first-rate guy. Because those are his boys, and he's thinking about them instead of missions. Over-identification with his men. I think that's what they call it. And you aren't going to change it either.
I can't buy it, Frank. Not yet, anyway. Is Keith still here?
No, we had tomorrow to get ready for.
Well, I'll give you that much. We'd better find out. If it's true, we're in trouble. Why should the other groups hold together if the 9/18th can't? Call my car, will you, Frank, while I get my pants on?
You mean you want me to go down there with you?
You bet I do. It's your idea.
We were 3 minutes late over the target and got most of it here on our bombing run.
That was a deadly 3 minutes, Keith. The whole idea was to get all the groups over the target simultaneously and at different altitudes so that enemy flak couldn't concentrate on any one group.
We sure were sitting ducks out there alone. Maybe I shouldn't have tried the target, but we were there and I figured the boys wouldn't want to bring their loads back home.
No man makes a perfect plan, Keith. You couldn't foresee a plane breaking through the runway. Maybe the mistake lay in not going on to the secondary target once you were late.
But I figured we could make up the time, catch up with the other groups. We could have, too, if it hadn't been for our stinking luck.
Luck? What luck was that?
It wasn't luck, sir. It was my fault.
It wasn't anybody's fault.
I'd like to hear the lieutenant's version.
Yes, sir. We had to alter the navigation and flight, sir, to cross the enemy coast here. We picked up an error, wind change. And I missed a checkpoint here, San Lo. By the time I caught it here at Ren, it had cost us 3 minutes. We never made it up.
If there's any fault, it's mine, sir. I was in command. I ordered the change in flight plan. The weather was thick enough, it could have happened to anyone.
Well, I think that covers it. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you, gentlemen.
Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
It's okay. Don't worry about a thing.
Keith, I know you're tired, but let's talk a little. Sit down. Let's talk about luck. A pretty critical 3 minutes, Keith. 5 crews, 50 men.
Do you think I don't know?
I know you do. Whose fault was it, Keith?
I told you, sir, primarily it was mine.
Were you flying?
Yes, sir.
Do you fly and navigate too, or do you rely on your navigator?
You have to rely on your navigator, but after all...
Then it was the lieutenant's fault.
He missed the checkpoint, but it could have happened to anyone.
I know, and I allow he feels as rotten about it as any of us do. More so, maybe. But what happens now, Keith?
I don't understand you, sir.
We're talking about luck. I don't believe in it. I believe that to some degree a man makes his own luck. Yours has been pretty bad down here, and it's getting worse, not better. Maybe the navigator's in point. He blew it. What are you going to do about it?
General, I don't believe in chopping off heads because of one mistake. Well, I just don't think that's any way to run a group.
I feel sorry for the boy, Keith. But what are the men in your group going to be thinking about the next mission he navigates? That he messed up the San Nazaire mission. It's just that much more load on them, and one day if they fall apart on you, that won't be luck.
There isn't a man in the outfit who wouldn't stake his life on Zimmy. General, if it was anyone else but him, he's got 2 strikes against him to begin with. You don't realize, sir, that boy's got a persecution complex. He wants to fly every mission, trying to live down the fact that his parents were mixed up in the German-American Bund. He screamed Zimmy plenty before he ever got overseas. That's what's riding him now.
Keith, good navigators is the one thing we're not short of. If you decide that you ought to relieve this boy, I'll give you a good replacement.
You might as well ask me to stand him up against the wall and shoot him in the back. No, I won't do it, sir. I just can't do it to him. I won't.
Keith, I want you to get to bed. Have the flight surgeon give you a shot that'll make you sleep 24 hours. I guess a man only has so much to give, and I guess you've given it. Effective now, you are relieved of this command, and you will report to me for duty at Bomber Command. I'll send someone down to take over here. Good night, Keith.
Good night, sir.
Major, the 918th will stand down until a new commanding officer arrives.
Yes, sir.
Want me to take it, sir?
No. I want to talk, Frank. There's a hole in the dike, Frank. I'm scared stiff. Maybe you know how deep all this goes, and maybe you don't. I've got to spill it anyhow. We're fighting all over the world. Every theater commander is screaming for crews and equipment. 50,000 airplanes. That's what they say they're building. I wish we had 500. Our problem right now narrows down to one group. If the 918th folds, it can spread to the other 3 groups. It can fold the whole deal. There's only one hope of shortening this war: daylight precision bombing. If we fold, daylight bombing is done with. I don't know. Maybe it means the whole show. We could lose the war if we don't knock out German industry. You can smell what's coming, Frank. I'm promising you nothing except a job no man should have to do who's already had more than his share of combat. I've got to ask you to take nice kids and fly them until they can't take anymore. And then put them back in and fly them some more. We've got to find out what a maximum effort is. How much a man can take and get it all. I don't even know if any man can do it. That's what cracked Keith. What time do you think you can get down there tomorrow?
Early, I guess.
No squawks?
Pretty hard to have one, the way you put it.
Thanks, Frank.
You know me, soldier?
No, sir.
And why are you admitting me to this station?
I saw it was a staff car, sir.
Goering could have been in it. There's my AGO card.
The general may proceed, sir.
Soldier, this is a military post, not a zoo. From now on, you'll check everyone who enters, and without exception. Take a good look at me. If you or any man on this post passes me up again without saluting, even if I'm a block away, you'll wonder what fell on you. You might pass that word around.
Yes, sir.
Locate my quarters and drop my bags off.
Yes, sir. Good luck, sir.
Thanks, sir. How do I address you?
I don't think I quite understand the General, sir.
What's your rank? How am I supposed to know?
Sergeant McElhenney, sir, U.S. Army Air Forces.
It's Private McElhenney now. Where's the air exec?
I don't think he's on the station, sir. He left right after Lieutenant Zimmerman's funeral.
Zimmerman?
Yes, sir. Navigator, sir.
And what happened to him?
Suicide, sir.
Now, where's the ground exec?
In the hospital, sir. Mumps.
And the adjutant?
I think maybe Major Stovall's at the officers' club, sir.
Now, when you get your clothes on, find him. And ask him to report to me here.
Yes, sir.
Major Stovall, sir, Group Adjutant.
Yes, I remember you, Major. You the only one around?
Probably, sir. I presume you've come down to take over the group.
That's right. You've been drinking, Major?
I have. It's the first time I've been drunk in 20 years. But it may not be the last.
Where's the air exec?
I don't know, sir. It's only an opinion, but I think it's possible he may be drunk too, sir.
I'll take straight answers, Major. Is he off the station?
Yes, sir.
Where?
I don't know that, sir.
Send the MPs out and find him and bring him to me under arrest.
Does the general mean under actual arrest?
Exactly. 2, cancel all leaves and passes and make sure that all squadron commanders are back here by tonight. 3, bring me the personnel files, the 66-1s on Gately and the key staff, including yours.
Yes, sir.
4, set up a meeting for all combat crews in the briefing room tomorrow morning at 0800.
Is that all, sir?
That's all.
Yes, sir. Colonel Gately is here, sir.
Send him in.
Yes, sir.
That's all, man.
May I ask the General why I've been placed under arrest?
No. Stand at attention. You're the son of Lieutenant General Tom Gately, aren't you?
I believe that's my standard identification, sir.
What do you think of him as an officer?
None better, sir.
That's right. You're the son of one fine officer and the grandson of another. You're a graduate of West Point with 9 years' service. Your Form 5 shows that you have more four-engine time than any man in the group. For those reasons, you could have done more than anybody to take the load off Colonel Davenport. The record shows that you've flown only 3 missions since you've been here. Was that right?
If you don't count twice I turned back, sir.
I take it that you don't even care about the part you had in breaking one of the best men you'll ever know. Add to it, as air exec, you were automatically in command here the moment Colonel Davenport left. And you met that responsibility exactly as you met his need. You ran out on it. You left the station to get drunk. Gately, as far as I'm concerned, you're yellow. A traitor to yourself, to this group, to the uniform you wear. It would be the easiest course for me to transfer you out. To saddle some unsuspecting guy with a deadbeat. Maybe you think that's what you're going to get out of this, a free ride in some combat unit. But I'm not going to pass the buck. I'm going to keep you right here. I hate a man like you so much that I'm going to get your head down in the mud and trample it. I'm going to make you wish you'd never been born.
If that's all, sir.
I'm just getting started. You're going to stay right here and get a belly full of flying. You're going to make every mission. You're not air exec anymore. You're just an airplane commander. And I want you to paint this name on the nose of your ship. Leper Colony. Because in it, you're going to get every deadbeat in the outfit. Every man with a penchant for head colds. If there's a bombardier who can't hit his plate with his fork, you get him. If there's a navigator who can't find the men's room, you get him because you rate him. Is that clear?
General Savage, I have a right to file charges against you for personal abuse and exceeding your lawful authority. And
get me Pine Tree. I want General Pritchard.
Line's busy, sir. Will you wait?
Yeah, I'll wait. Right, Gately. You've got a right to explain to General Pritchard cowardice, desertion of your post, a yellow streak a mile wide. And maybe he can explain it to your father so that they'll both be proud of you. Hello? You can tell him right now.
Hello, I have your line, sir. Hello?
General Savage,
hello?
I withdraw my statement.
Hello? Hello? Hello, I have your line, sir. Hello?
Never mind. That's all then. Got an order relieving Colonel Gately as air exec.
Yes, sir. Anybody else, sir?
I'll let you know, Major. There's one file there, Cobb, Squadron Commander. Shows a good record in the air. What are his personal qualifications?
I'm sure the General will be pleased with any selection he makes from the group.
Thanks for the help, Major. I'll be around the station.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I've been assigned as the General's driver.
Fine.
Say, aren't you the clerk that I saw?
Yes, sir. Private McElhenney, sir.
General officers rate sergeants as drivers. Better put those stripes back on.
Yes, sir.
Under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, 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 don't.
Beer.
Yes, sir.
With anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, 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 don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me.
Remove your cap in the club, Major.
That's regulations, huh?
It is. Have another, Major Cobb.
Scotch.
I've got it.
A regulation against buying my own, is there?
That's right. Corporal.
Yes, sir.
This bar is closed for tonight, and until further notice.
I'll probably see you tomorrow morning. Good night, Ben. Good night. I'll keep a light in the doghouse window for you.
Come in.
Major Stovall. Had an order assigning Major Cobb as air exec.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Rest. There'll be a briefing for a practice mission at 1100 this morning. That's right, practice. I've been sent down here to take over what has come to be known as a hard luck group. Well, I don't believe in hard luck. So we're going to find out what the trouble is. Maybe part of it's your flying, so we're going back to fundamentals. But I can tell you now one reason I think you've been having hard luck. I saw it in your faces last night. I can see it there now. You've been looking at a lot of air lately. You think you ought to have a rest. In short, you're sorry for yourselves. Now, I don't have a lot of patience with this what are we fighting for stuff. We're in a war, a shooting war. We've got to fight. And some of us have got to die. I'm not trying to tell you not to be afraid. Fear is normal. But stop worrying about it and about yourselves. Stop making plans. Forget about going home. Consider yourselves already dead. Once you accept that idea, it won't be so tough. Now, if any man here can't buy that, if he rates himself as something special, with a special kind of hide to be saved, he'd better make up his mind about it right now. Because I don't want him in this group. I'll be in my office in 5 minutes. You can see me there.
I'll take Colonel Davenport any day.
Me too.
The air exec and the group flight surgeon are here, sir.
I tell them to come in.
Yes, sir.
They beat you to it, Major? I thought you'd be the first one in line to ask for transfer.
No, sir.
Well, it wouldn't have done you any good. Doesn't go for staff. You're stuck with me.
Yes, sir.
You might tell them.
They thought you'd want to see them about the practice mission, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. Now, for the general's information, I think you'll find Major Kaiser a top man. Thorough, knows his job, honest. I think Cobb's an excellent man, too. It's just he's a little too frank.
Thanks, Major.
Yes, sir. General, this is Major Kaiser.
I'm glad to see you, Doc.
And I think you met Major Cobb.
Indeed I have.
General, I don't know if you still want me here after last night. No need to tell you, I was stiff.
Well, stiff or not, you laid it on the line. You got the job after I saw you at the club, not before. You were in the briefing room. You still want it?
I think I can cut it for you, sir.
See you at takeoff. Now, what about crew availability, Major?
We have a very critical morale problem, General. You gave them the shock treatment this morning, a bucket of cold water. I take it that's the key in which you want me to approach the problem as to how much stress they can take.
If a man is physically capable of handling his airplane, he goes.
Well, that's definite enough. But some things can't be accomplished just by issuing an order. Have you seen the sick reports?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Ease up. Give them a chance to get used to you.
No, Major. For 2 reasons. First, there isn't time. Second, I can't enter a popularity contest with Keith Davenport. I'd lose that one. And one more thing. I think they're better than that.
All right, sir. That's it.
Lieutenant Bishop to see you, sir.
Bishop? Bishop, who's he?
A pilot, sir. Well, yesterday, a recommendation for the Medal of Honor for him was forwarded to you at Pine Tree.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll see him in just a minute.
Yes, sir.
I think I know how deep the problem is here, Major. And I'm convinced that the one thing that'll solve it is pride. Pride in this group. The kind of pride that'll make it the last thing a man wants is to be left on the ground. And that's my job, not yours. Paint it with iodine and mark 'em duty, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir?
Send Bishop in.
Yes, sir.
I'd better practice saluting you first, Lieutenant. That goes with a medal. It was a privilege to add my name to that recommendation.
Thank you, sir.
Sit down, Bishop.
Thank you, sir, but... Well, first, I'd better tell you why I'm here.
Go ahead.
The pilots asked me to be their spokesman, sir. They want to transfer out.
How many of them?
All of them, sir.
Well, I can see why they sent you, Bishop. You make quite a spokesman. Have you thought this out? You're sure that's the way you feel?
I think so, sir.
All right, that's it. Tell them to put their request through channels. Meanwhile, they fly. That's all, then?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
I just made some coffee, General. Thought you might like some. Shall I bring it in?
Thanks, Major. I'll come out there and get it. What are you doing?
Personal effects of boys who got it to be sent to next of kin. I'm a little behind. I always write a letter. It takes time to screen the stuff pretty well. Might save somebody back home getting hurt unnecessarily.
That's a tough chore. I don't envy you. How'd you happen to get into paperwork?
Well, they didn't give me any choice. See, I'm a retread. I had my shot at combat, first war. So I kind of wanted to get into this one, but I guess they figured I was too old for anything but a desk. Maybe they were right.
You liked Keith Davenport, didn't you? A lot, I mean.
Yes, sir. I thought he was one of the finest men I ever knew.
Same way the boys felt, I'm sure. Loyalty's a fine thing. Well, thanks for the coffee, Major.
General Savage, I'd like to tell you something else, I think. I'm a lawyer by trade. I think I'm a good one. And when a good lawyer takes on a client, he does it because he believes in the client's case. And that's all that matters. When I came over to England, I took on my biggest client. That client is the 9/18th Bomb Group. I want to see my client win its case. Does that answer what you had in mind?
On the button.
What did you have in mind exactly?
I need time before those transfers go through.
Mm-hmm. How much time?
As much as we can get. 10 days anyway.
Well, it'll take those squadron adjutants at least 2 days to draw up all those requests. And let's see. I believe in thorough, methodical work, everything in order. I've got a good deal of stuff on my desk here, so it might be 3 days before I could get around to them.
That's 5.
Take a couple of days to check them. That's 7. Then those squadron adjutants are pretty sloppy sometimes, and I certainly don't want this group criticized for sloppy paperwork. Do you, General?
Couldn't permit it.
So my guess is every one of those requests may have to go back to the squadron adjutants to be done over. By the time I recheck them, it'll be 10 days anyway before they can be ready for signature.
What a way to run an outfit. You red tape adjutants are all alike.
That's right, sir.
But Harvey, there can be trouble in this.
I don't think so, sir. I never heard of a jury convicting the lawyer.
因为时间的关系，所以我们的节目在此先告一个段落。刚才我们在剧中可以看到前后2任指挥官他们的领导统御方式是相当的不同。第一任的指挥官呢，基斯上校，他对待部属是非常体恤的，所以就陷入了所谓的指挥官的陷阱。而下一任的法兰克准将呢，他对于纪律跟训练的要求是非常严谨的。那我想看到这边呢，我们电视机前面的观众朋友们一定有一个疑问：在执行上级命令跟照顾下级部属，如果2者没有办法兼顾的时候呢，我们应该要怎么处置？针对这个部分，我们是不是请我们的王教官来帮我们解说一下？教官，
是的，我们知道领导统御有一个基本的核心要则，那就是要尽力兼顾执行上级命令与照顾下级部属。可是我们总会碰到2者没有办法兼顾的时候，那这时候我们就要权衡轻重，有所取舍。我们要知道，上级的命令是长官整体考量的决定。所以说，上级命令如果没有明显的违法，我们在意见俱深之后，就应该要当机立断，以大局为重，执行上级命令为先，照顾下级部属为后。像剧中918轰炸大队原任指挥官基斯上校的做法是错误的。简单的来说，他就是犯了以私害公的错误。相反的，我们看到新任指挥官法兰克准将接任后，他以执行上级命令为先，继而照顾下级部属。我们从结果成效来看，证实这样的做法才是正确的。
是，谢谢教官啊。那我们是不是也请我们队长针对这个实务的部分，提出一些案例来跟我们观众朋友们做一个分享？
好的，我们刚刚透过王教官的报告之后啊，我们了解一个领导者的重要。那一位成功的领导者，他必须由多种的特质所组成的，里面无外乎包含知识、决策、公正、勇气、关怀等等。那绝对不是说是命运的安排就可以完成的，特别是在军中的指挥官在执行命令以及照顾部属之间，要取得一个适当的平衡，如何取舍与其拿捏，端赖指挥官在智慧做出正确的判断。那依照个人的意见呢，照顾部属是部队长的天职，需要扮演做之君、做之亲以及做之师的角色，使部属能够专心致力在工作的本务，进而使部队能完成上级命令。此2者是一个兼顾的状态。同时，站在一个任职飞行作战队的队长的立场，平常必须要严格的要求飞行训练。那它的目的就是要积蓄作战或在演习之后的能量，能够胜任上级所交付的各项任务。就空军整体而言，战机必须要升空，战力才得以发挥。我们凭借的就是空技勤所有同仁们努力的结果，而且要培养一位成熟的飞行员，花费是非常的庞大。单单就飞行员角度切入， 要能够练就一身好的战斗技能以及应变反应的能力，这是身为领导干部必须要绝对负起的责任。唯有保持着精实、扎实以及落实的态度，严格从事飞行训练，并且在一旦发现到任务执行成效不彰的人员，应予以辅导以及加强，这才是一个照顾部属最好的作为，避免因为个人的因素陷团队于不利的环境，造成团队的荣誉以及任务无法遂行。所以我们要朝向同时兼顾执行上级命令以及照顾下属的目标同时迈进。
是，谢谢两位教官这么精辟的解说哦。的确，指挥官的领导统御是会影响整个团队的士气与作战结果，所以大家千万不要让自己轻易的陷入了指挥官的陷阱。好的，欣赏完了上半场的晴空血战史之后，相信观众朋友们一定都还意犹未尽。究竟918轰炸大队能不能够顺利的完成任务，获得最后的胜利呢？那就敬请大家期待下半场更精彩的内容喽。今天的节目就先到此告一段落，我们下次再会。